On March 27th, Bruno Silva Borges disappeared, leaving his house with only shorts and a t-shirt, and his family has no clue what happened to him. His mother, Denise Borges, showed a series of reasons that led to believe that the case is not just another disappearance of a person. Bruno had lunch with his family on Monday the 27th. That was the last time relatives saw him. Bruno returned home after lunch and his relatives went back to work. Later, the father returned to the family home in Rio Branco and realized that his son was not there. Behind the door of the room, it was kept for 24 days locked while his parents traveled. Instead of furniture, a statue of the philosopher Giordano Bruno and 14 books extremely organized, written by hand. Some of them copied on the walls, ceiling, and floor. All works identified by Roman numerals, encrypted. In the bedroom, the writings are done with precision and symmetry. Several symbologies were drawn in the room and also around the statue. A painting on the wall where Bruno appears being touched by an alien also shows the young man's interest in various subjects. Giordano Bruno was a philosopher, theologian, and writer born in Nola, Italy in 1548, accused of heresy by the ideas by the Holy Office, and died in Rome in 1600, burned at the stake after refusing to give up his doctrines. Among other things, the philosopher defended the affinity of the universe and its characteristics of constant transformation. For him, God is also infinite, immanent, and transcendent, and without contradictions, since opposites end up coinciding in these infinites. And according to Giordano, the universe would be alive, driven by the same law, and God is present everywhere, and it is incumbent upon human beings to worship him beyond any dogma. During his lifetime, the philosopher wrote about cosmology, physics, and the art of memory. This is Bruno's room before the change. Denise recalls that her son had spoken a long time ago of a project he was working on and for which he would need money. In response, she said she would sponsor if she knew what it was, a request that was later rejected by Bruno. According to his mother, Bruno started production in 2013 and a year ago began to focus on finishing. He said it was a secret. I did not give him any money. Then he started looking for people who believed in him without telling him what the project was. He just told me that he was writing 14 books that would change mankind in a good way. He asked me for a year without working to finish. Gabriel Borges, Bruno's older sister, says it was his project, and he told me he would tell me what it was in 2 weeks. It bothered me, but I could not break the door, Gabriel said. The sister also tells that Bruno even left a key that relates letters to the symbols, and based on this, the brothers managed to translate some things. The title of one of the books is Theory of the Absorption of Knowledge. Still not knowing what the books are hiding, the mother reveals that until March 1st, when she traveled on vacation, Bruno's room had the usual furniture. The other two brothers, however, revealed that after the parents' departure, the door was always closed. It took exactly 22 days to make the changes. Before that, he had written 5 books. One of them he wanted to patent because he had launched a theory. Bruno's mother was asked for help and said she would read it. She read it 3 times. It was only when the 3rd time she read it she understood. His theories were perfect. In the middle of Bruno's room is a statue of Giordano Bruno. The family doesn't know exactly when it entered the house. The money to pay for the project, according to Denise, Bruno got from a cousin. He's been studying philosophy for many years. He was very much a fan of Giordano. My family knows how to talk about anything. He has a very high intellectual capacity. Bruno's cousin says that he talked to the young man and believed in the project. He also said that Bruno did not tell him very much of what he was doing. In our first conversation, I read about 15 pages of the book, and I liked it. I said I would help finance. During a conversation, I realized that he had some ideas that beat me, even though he did not want to tell me the project itself. He just told me it was something unheard of in the world, that no one had ever done, and that he was going to get acquainted quickly. He also said that he transferred the amount of $6,500 to Bruno's account. Bruno told me that he had a statue in place that was for visitation, but he did not say where. I knew of the existence of the statue, the cousin said. 7 days after his disappearance, Denise says she begins to understand her son's attitude, which has no psychological problems. She says, faced with the size of Bruno's effort, the mother reveals that she might have resorted to drastic measures if she saw the writing differently. If he opened the door of the room and called us to see, I would cry until I died, call the ambulance and order hospitalization. Maybe he was gone for us to come to that clarification. Maybe he tried to patent. He did not get it, and he created a language of his own, or maybe the work was made to be read by those who have an intelligence beyond. But somebody in Brazilian media apparently did translate some of the writings on the walls. This is one of them. It is called Hard Way. For thousands of years, the human being has been trying to find answers to questions such as, what is the meaning of life? The philosophy that seems to have begun with tales of Miletus in the middle of 700 BCE aims to find traces of unanswered questions. The deep search for the absolute truth comes from philosophy, and when we talk about easy or difficult paths, we are referring to this type of theorem. It is easy to accept what we have been taught since childhood and what is wrong. It is difficult when you are an adult to understand that you have been taught wrongly since you suspected that you were correct. In other words, if you fit into some of the stimuli of the environment, you determine a certain behavior, making you at the mercy of the well-established and established beliefs and dogmas and rituals, with the concentrated mass of people in it, or allowing you to conform, accepting the concept of happiness and meaning of life, embedded in the media and society. Then clearly, you are part of the easy path to the quest for absolute truth. Does it fit the second option, that is, the one who suspects every set of beliefs that was rooted to him? Then this one has everything to be an investigator, or the truthfulness in the things around him, entering in a more complicated way, in which a minority ventures or bravely faces. Books have been Bruno's life from adolescence, when he came to believe that he had studied little until then and he needed to make up for lost time. Even for the taste for the more complicated books, Denise claims she had always cared to follow the boy's choices. He started reading a lot, and in my view, he was reading too much. He started to buy many books and I was worried, but always careful about the kind of reading he did. Today, the people he could talk to were judges, prosecutors, intellectuals, she said. From a very early age, Bruno showed himself to be different, and according to his mother, loved by all because of his kind heart. She says his friends have always been beggars or people excluded by society as having mental disorders. He is enlightened. In school, he was different. A born leader, with a high power of persuasion. He is such a good-hearted boy who is always donating. It's not because he's my son. I'm talking about loving Bruno. He sees the soul of people.